Hi, everybody. I'm Royce with Viking Wax Press, and with me tonight for tonight's show are Adam and Randy Snow from the world of football. Tonight we're going to be talking about and ranking the AFC helmets from the NFL. We've already done this for the NFC, and Adam's going to be posting that on his website, The World of Football, on the YouTube channel there. So be sure and take a look at that. We'll put the links in the comments. But tonight we're going to start and just rank every single AFC helmet using my ranking system. I rank on personal taste, logo, color scheme, uniqueness, legibility, use of space, and contrast. So each of those categories gets a 1 through 10 with a maximum score of 70 for each team. First of all, before I dig into that, I want to give these guys a chance to tell us who they are and where to find them on the internet.
Go ahead, Adam.
Oh, well, I'm Adam Snow. I am I don't even know what my official title is. We don't have titles around here. I essentially run the YouTube channel. You can find us at TWOF Kalamazoo on social media, on X and Instagram, and our Facebook page. I do all the editing, and Dad's the founder, and I just make his vision come to life.
Yeah, you can find our website at theworldoffootball.com. If you want to email us, it's info@theworldoffootball.com. Like I said, we're on many different podcasting platforms, SoundCloud, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, you name it. We're everywhere. Been doing this for about 7.5 years now, and one of these days we're going to get it right. But we appreciate Royce asking us to do this, and looking forward to it. So, yeah. Take it away, Royce.
I love your channel, and it's a great resource for anything football, really. I'll just say that. Anything, anytime, anywhere. If it's football related, they cover it. So, okay, well we're going to start with the AFC helmets, and we're going to go bottom to top. So collectively, we each ranked the helmets, and then we kind of put a combined score and averaged them out, and we're going to start with the lowest rank of the AFC helmets and go up from there. At number 16, collectively, we ranked the Cleveland Browns at the last spot. I gave them a 1 in a lot of categories, and so did Randy. So Adam actually was far more lenient on the Browns. So I won't go into why I don't like them, other than it's just the most boring helmet I've ever seen. And from there, I'll give it to Adam.
You guys are crazy. Look, yes, it doesn't have a logo on the side, but that's the beauty of it, the uniqueness of it. It's an orange shell, and it's great. And the fact that they went back to the white face mask this past season, making that whole look just pop in that classic Cleveland Browns fashion, is chef's kiss. I love this helmet. You guys are nuts. And, it's just historically one of the best helmets, and that's where I'll leave it.
Well, historically, yes, it's a classic look for that team. But they could have done something over the years. I mean, in college, you've got Penn State with a plain white helmet, and you've got Notre Dame. And Notre Dame's the only one I can say that has a reason to have a helmet, because their gold helmet is supposed to reflect the gold dome of the main administration building on the University of Notre Dame campus. So I'll give them a pass. But Penn State, get a logo. Browns, get a logo. Come on.
Well, and the funny thing is, to me, they're called the Browns, but the helmet's orange. I just don't get it. It's just odd to me. Anyway, We'll move on to the next one and go up from there. So the next one we had on the list, the 15th best AFC helmet, was the Jacksonville Jaguars. Collectively, we gave them a 39, and I want to like this helmet because I think the Jaguar is cool, but I think the black shell is just too dark, and there's something about it that just is not quite there for me. I guess, where did I score it low? I scored it low in legibility and contrast, really were my two lowest scores for there. It's just too dark.
Okay, well, since I liked it the most, I'll go in because you hate it. Look, the logo is great. This was an improved logo when they did that redesign several years ago, so it's a great logo, but the one thing they haven't been able to get right is that helmet shell. What are they doing? 1 year they experimented with the half black, half gold helmet, which was terrible. And they had like the black that was kind of like with teal blue in it too, like teal flecks. That didn't really work. So they're still trying to figure out. So by no means is this a perfect helmet, but I think this is as basic can get with a great logo on the side. that's about it. I mean, it's just a black shell with a black face mask with a really cool logo on the side. It can definitely improve.
Agreed. Randy?
Not so fast, my friend. I don't care for their logo. It's kind of messy, and it blends in with the black shell. You can't see it. You can't discern it from a distance. It just doesn't work for me. So if you're going to use a black helmet, you've got to have a logo that's a totally different color and makes it really stand out. And this one does not work. I'm sorry.
The next one is the Denver Broncos. Now, I'm already guessing where Randy's going to go with this, so I'll kind of wait for that part and just give you where I thought it lacks was uniqueness. That was my worst category for it. That dark blue just takes over the helmet and kind of obscures the logo quite a bit. For me, it does have a little bit of speed aspect to it with the angle the horse has. That helps it. But the white does pop off there enough to give it a little bit of, you can recognize it as a horse head, but it's an odd floating horse head. It's kind of weird. How about you? Let's start with Randy this time.
Yeah, I agree with you. The dark blue helmet and basically a dark blue logo together. And I've never really cared for that logo ever since they stole it from the St. Louis Stallions, the expansion team that never was, and they basically stole that logo from them. I've never really cared for that logo, so this helmet, I don't like it.
Well, as you all can see, I graded this the highest, again, out of the three of us. Look, by no means do I love this. Uniqueness was my lowest aspect of this, along with personal taste. They could have done so much more with it. I like that the helmet, it's not like a matte navy blue, which is fine. I think it works. What doesn't work, though, is that they changed the stripes. It's like two weird stripes on the back with a bunch of little triangles. I hated that. I thought that was dumb. Otherwise, this isn't a terrible helmet. I love that Denver Broncos logo. Yeah, they went away from the classic D logo to this, and I felt the same way like when the Buccaneers changed. Like I thought it was an improvement. I like this logo a lot. They had the big uniform overhaul this past year for the first time since the late 90s when they made that change to that Bronco head. But yeah. I think it's a serviceable helmet, not the greatest. The stripe really took it down for me, though.
I agree. And that's where I thought Randy was going to go with it. I thought he was going to go, the Orange Crush version of it was, to me, far superior.
It is. I have a mini helmet of the old blue helmet with the D on it. I love that. I love all the throwback ones. So, yeah, this new one just doesn't work for me. I like the old one much better.
Yeah, especially like the steam coming out of the nose and stuff was so good in that old one. This one just, to me, is not quite the same. Doesn't have that same fierceness. The next team we had was the Patriots. I ranked them very low on my list because I loved Pat Patriot and this Flying Elvis version. And I learned something this week. They've both been around for the same amount of years. Can you guys believe that? Can you guys believe that they've had the same tenure?
No.
Yeah. So it makes me feel old, but at the same time, Elvis has been around as long as Pat Patriot has. So I don't like very much about this at all. I think color scheme wise, it goes away from if you're talking Patriot, you're talking red, white, and blue in America. That's the patriotic colors. Why did you slap a silver shell on it? I don't get that. The Flying Elvis to me is a really ugly logo. So I gave the logo a 1. I think it doesn't really represent patriotism. I mean, it's got the supposedly the tricorn hat, but not really, because it's so angular. It's just weird. The use of space, it kind of sits high, but doesn't really cover the whole part of the shell very well. Legibility, from a distance, it just kind of looks like a blue swipe on a silver helmet from way back. So I don't like much about this helmet. How about you? Let's start with Adam this time.
Well, clearly, again, I was very nice to this helmet. I dig it. It's fine. I think the silver works, but you made a good point. I think if they were to do a new helmet, go with a white shell with this logo. I think it would stand out. It would pop. I think it would look a lot better. So, yeah, I think I would have gone higher if the shell was white. But with it being silver, the red face mask works with it. I like that there's enough blue on it, so you still get the red, white, and blue a little bit. And I kind of stick now with the Patriots dynasty kind of come and gone. That's going to be a helmet in the history books that's going to stick out to me. So I don't mind it. I just think it's a look that works.
I agree with you on the face mask. That's the best part about the whole helmet. The red face mask, that's the best part.
Well, I had this one ranked at number 8 on my list. Kind of middle of the road. I like the colors. Yeah, I like the silver. I like the red, white, and blue of the logo. But the logo is just, it's an odd shape. And if you didn't know what it was and you were seeing it for the first time from a distance, you wouldn't know what the heck that thing is. You would think maybe it's a flag or something. So, yeah, middle of the road. It's okay. Not great, not terrible, but right in the middle is where I had it.
It kind of reminds me, I don't know if you ever saw the Shreveport Pirates helmet of the expansion CFL when they did that weird kind of angle pirate look. It's like a triangular.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, it doesn't really match. So I didn't get it. Okay, now let's move on to the next one, which is the Miami Dolphins. We gave it an average of 40.33 collectively. And I had it on my list. I had it as number 13. When I look at it, I was probably unfair to it because I gave it a 2 as far as color scheme. I think part of that is it's so extremely white that it's almost blinding.
Brady's the same way.
Yeah. I don't hate the teal or whatever color that dolphin is. I don't hate that color, so I probably should have scored it higher on that. At the same time, I don't think they needed to change what they had. And this one looks far too corporate compared to the previous version. It had the perfect record with, from the 70s, that Bob Greasy era, and the dolphin with the helmet. That was, to me, what it always should be and always should have stayed.
Yeah, I agree with you. They should have never changed it. The original one was perfect. They had no reason to change that helmet. It was great the way it was. And, I like the colors. The use of space is good, but, man, that new logo is just awful. Just awful. And I had it ranked at number 10 on my list. Just not a fan of this new design. Bring the old one back.
Yep. Adam, how about you?
Yeah, the all white does kind of take it down for me, but I love the teal and orange. I think that's a great color scheme. The stripe down the middle does break up all that white. I like the logo quite a bit. When they made this change, it wasn't on the same level as the Broncos and Buccaneers changes for me, but I still liked it. I was like, okay, you got away from the dolphin that looked like it was just doing a trick at SeaWorld, and now it actually looks like a dolphin in the ocean jumping out in the distance in front of the sun. So I don't mind it. And they did that thing where like they had to mean up all the logos. Like that Jaguars logo got mean. The Cardinals logo got mean. This Dolphins logo, I don't know how you make a dolphin mean, but they made it a meaner looking logo. And I don't know, it doesn't bother me. And the fact that now it's kind of going, east and west instead of north and south, I think was an interesting change too. Again, one I don't hate, but it might be a little too white. I think they got to add something to that face mask maybe to break it up.
Yeah. I mean, what would you think if they did that teal blue as a face mask color?
It could work. That or the orange. You could probably put an orange on there. It might also make it pop. But I think you could go either way with that. One of those two colors. I mean, something's going to have to break it up. You can't. I don't know. A white face mask with a white shell just... Yeah. I don't know. Seems like they just took it out of the box and didn't really think about we should probably get a different face mask for this.
I agree. Okay, next on the list we have the Tennessee Titans. And they actually had the same score, 40.33, but the way I break the tiebreaker is we all ranked it a little bit better in personal taste, and then logo, I think, was the tiebreaker on this one, where the logo score was better, so that gave it the boost up. And that's where I do like this one much better than a lot of them. In fact, I ranked this one 8th because I like the logo on this one. It's just so dark, that dark shell with the dark logo, like Randy was talking about earlier, with the way that it just drowns it out and makes it hard to read. Luckily, there's a little bit of a very bright blue and a little bit of that white that you can still see it, but from a distance, it does make it very hard to read. So that's why I scored it down. Otherwise, it'd be up there pretty far because I do like that logo. And I like the colors. How about you on this one, Adam?
So this is a helmet that a change that I didn't like. I loved the old Titans helmet, that white helmet. I thought it was great. It was perfect as is. But when they made this design change, they kind of incorporated the two-tone colors to make it look like a sword. So the stripe going down the center of the helmet's supposed to be a sword. They did the same with the shoulder pads on the jersey, but we're not talking about the jersey. I don't know. I don't like the darker shell. I think the sword attempt was half-baked. But, I mean, that logo is a top. If we're just doing logos, that Titans logo was absolutely fire from the moment it got introduced. I thought it was one of the coolest logos in the league. It's a great color scheme. I like how they incorporated the Nashville or the Tennessee flag into the logo. But otherwise, it's a complete misfire in a lot of those other aspects.
I'm with you. I like the white shell so much better on that one. How about you, Randy?
Yeah, I'm in agreement on the white helmet was much better, and I even like the old logo better. This, like you said, dark logo, dark helmet. I don't like it. It just doesn't pop out to the eyes on that. Again, another team that put out a helmet that they didn't need to change. The original one was really good, I thought.
Yeah. Okay, next up we have the Jets. They came in with a 41.67, and I had them ranked 9th on my list. Not bad, not great. I don't like the Jets as a team, especially since Aaron Rodgers made an appearance there. However, what happens during this ranking process is that I have to overcome my biases in a lot of ways, and this one actually did that because it's got a clean look with a really good legible helmet with a that logo, clear to read, easy to see. I'm not a fan of words or letters making up the logo, but this one they actually gave it enough speed and direction to kind of make it feel jet-like, if you will. So I think they did a good job with it overall. I really kind of ruined it with personal taste. It's ugly, and then uniqueness. It's really just a ripoff of their '90s version, which then they went back to their, for a while they kind of went back to their old Super Bowl Jets era, and I actually really liked that. So then we went back to this '90s era one. I wasn't a big fan, but that said, it's still actually a pretty good helmet because it's so clear.
Once again, I agree with you. The old Super Bowl era helmet was much better. The best thing that the Jets and the Giants did a few years ago was go back to those old logos. The Giants took the word Giants off and put the NY on it. And I like my teams to look like they used to look many years ago. So I want to be able to look at the Jets and think Joe Namath and Super Bowl III whenever I see those uniforms. Now, with this green helmet, I don't know. I don't like it. It is a clean logo and everything, but bring back the original. I had this ranked at number 11, so like you, it's kind of like right in the middle somewhere. It's not great, not terrible, but the original was much better.
So this is one it's kind of a middle of the pack helmet in the AFC for me. When I think of this helmet, they went back to this design. I think of the Bill Parcells era in New York. I'm significantly younger than you fellas, so that was my first Jets experience. Was this logo? Was this uniform that they had? And so when they went back to it, I was like, okay, because it was a step up from their last iteration, which I think was a complete miss, But before that, like you said, the Super Bowl era Jets stuff was perfect. So why you would ever deviate back from that, I don't know. But at least this is kind of going back in that right direction. So maybe we'll get back to the Super Bowl era looking uniforms at some point. But as a helmet, clearly legible. The white on the green really pops. I think it's a good color scheme.
Yeah.
But I've never been super crazy about it just saying Jets like that.
Yeah.
They use the space pretty good. The logo is huge on that side of the helmet, so yeah, you could read it probably from the Empire State Building when they're playing at MetLife. So, not a terrible helmet, but not my preferred version of the Jets for sure.
Yeah, but that green is a very cool color of green. I like that. So, Okay, let's move on to the next one, which is the Baltimore Ravens, which we collectively gave a 44. You guys each gave it a 58. I gave it a 16.
Whoa.
So we were pretty drastically different on that one. really for this one for me was, if you are anywhere but close, you just can't tell what the heck you're looking at on this because it's so black on black. Even worse to me than the Jaguars one was, because it's got even more black in that logo. Now, I like the logo. It represents a raven, but it's so dark you can't see it. So that, I mean, I had trouble because for me, the only score I gave it average on, a 5, was uniqueness. It is kind of unique. It's another bird among many birds, but it's at least a, kind of a unique look. But contrast, legibility, I just don't really like it because you can't see it. So we'll start. Let's go to Adam on this one.
Yeah, I like it quite a bit. It's not the best helmet that's out there, but for this one in particular, though, the black face mask, the black shell work. I think the purple, the white, and the gold all kind of work on that helmet to really, to me, not really focus that it's an all-black helmet. It's just a look that simply works. It's a look that they've had since they had to make that change from their original helmet design with all that legal drama or whatever happened with that one. So yeah. I like that logo too. But this logo is pretty great. It's menacing with that red eye. And, I mean, the Ravens have been so good since they've become the Ravens that, I don't know, to me, this is like one of those, to me, it's a classic Baltimore Ravens look because they've only had a couple of them. And they've been really good for so long. And, like, to me, this, I don't know, it's just a great color scheme. Purple and black, not super common in sports. You got a few teams that are purple and black, but especially NFL, it's either purple and gold or, purple with another bright color, but to match it with like a darker color and then throw in some gold, I don't know. I like it.
Yeah, the gold helps. I really like their alt helmet they used this past season with the purple shell. I thought was really good because it helped stand out. But then they had that gold face mask on it, and that was the clincher. That was awesome. So I like it when they can kind of shine that gold a little bit. If they did a little more gold throughout this one, I think it would help. Randy, how about you?
Well, this may be a classic look, but it's not a good look. I had this ranked at number 16 on my list. I do not care for this one at all. Again, another dark logo, dark helmet. Can't see it. The logo's okay.
Are you sure you're reading the right one? You scored this at a 58.
Well, I've got Ravens as my number 16. So,
you know what? I wonder if I put that in wrong. Well, I'll have to go back in. If I scored it wrong, I'll put a note in there on the video. But
okay, yeah, it says he gave it a 24.
That's my bad then. Okay, well, no wonder. I thought you both scored it well. So, Randy, I apologize. It's much worse than you think.
Yeah, it's as bad as I thought it was. So there you go. Yeah, just don't like. I don't like the dark logo, the dark helmet. It's hard to see. So yeah, I don't care for it.
So by the time I edit the video, I'll put the correct score up there. Randy did not give it a 58.
Thank you.
Okay, next we've got the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're starting to get up there with this one has a 44.67. I think it's a classic look. One thing I don't like about it is that the logo is only on one side of the helmet. I don't like that part. It was one of the first black shells ever. I think they were kind of cutting edge before the whole in the 90s when about 6 different teams turned black shell. They were all seemed like copycats to the Steelers to me. It's a nice for the town known for its steel industry. I think it's really kind of gritty and it fits. It's got good contrast. If you don't know though, if you didn't know about the steel industry and that logo representing the steel industry, you wouldn't understand why it's got those 3 colored gems on there and what's that about. You may not know. So that's a little bit of almost you're asking something of people that they don't necessarily have to know to look at and, I guess, know what they're seeing.
This is a classic look. I do like it. Originally, they had a yellow helmet, and you see that same logo on a yellow helmet. It was atrocious. The best thing they did was put it on a black shell, so that was great. There's a name for those little gems, the red, yellow, and gold, like little stars on the helmet. There's a name for those. I can't think of it, but I'll have to look it up and tell you what it is later. But yeah, there's a special name for those designs, and this is just a classic helmet with a great look. And you know why it's only on one side of the helmet, don't you?
No.
Because when all the teams started putting logos on their helmets in the 60s, they weren't sure if they were going to like having a logo on their helmet, so they only put it on one side of the helmet, thinking they may not like it, they may not keep it, and then the second logo they put on their jersey. So the second logo has always been on their jersey, and the other one's on the helmet. That's why they only have it on one side, which makes them unique, which is good. But yeah, that's a classic look, and again, I like my Steelers to look like the Steelers of the 70s when they won 4 Super Bowls. So the team today has a connection to that team. So yeah, this is a classic logo that is a classic.
I agree. I just don't think it would hurt them at all by slapping the logo on the other side. I don't think it would kill the design. I think it'd be just fine. But Adam, how about you?
Well, I did some Googling while y'all were talking, and those 3 diamonds are called hypocloids. And the 3 colors represent, yellow represents the coal industry, or the coal, a key ingredient in steel making. The red represents iron ore, and the blue represents steel scrap. So those are what the 3 colors represents in those hypocloids. There's your word of the day, everybody.
Love it.
Look, classic look. And like we already mentioned, the uniqueness of having the logo on only one side, I think that, like, I've heard Dad tell this history lesson before. The fact that it's like, oh, instead of putting the logo on the helmet, let's put it on the jersey, and the fact that that's just stuck, pretty unique, pretty cool. Like you said, Roy, I wouldn't be upset if they decided to be like, let's just slap it back on the helmet. It wouldn't look terrible. It'd be great. It's just weird when you try to do the helmet matchups, and you have to turn the Steelers as the away team or the home team, and they got no logo on that side. That's the only thing that bugs me about it when you're trying to do cool graphics of the 2 helmets facing each other. But otherwise, we've been to Pittsburgh recently. It's a great town. They love their Steelers. This is a great look, so I don't think it's ever going to change.
No.
But that's why it might not be the greatest design, but it's a classic design that, middle of the road for me.
I'm with you. I do like Pittsburgh. Most of my relatives on my dad's side are from that area, so shout out to all the wax and filters from Pittsburgh area. All right. Next, we're going to go to the Houston Texans, who have a 46 collectively, it looks like. This one I had ranked pretty high. This was my 5th best because I think it really does a good job with giving you a feel of what Texas is all about. Kind of big and bold, almost in your face, and it's got a big bullhead. The thing I don't like about it is that one side that's that dark blue gets lost in the dark blue shell. That's the only thing I really don't like about it.
Well, yeah, I actually dig this. When the Texans unveiled the logo, I loved the logo when they showed it. It looks like that Texas state flag with the Lone Star eye on it. So I thought that was a cool incorporation. Luckily, I think the white outline of the logo saves it on this helmet. Otherwise, like you said, Royce, that the blue fades into the blue helmet shell. But that doesn't really bug me on this one. I don't know why, even though we've complained about the same color face mask and shell, this works for me. I like how big the logo is on the side of the helmet. They just did that redesign, so I don't know if they made it just a smidge bigger or not. But it's not super unique. It's another logo slapped on a plain helmet and face mask combo, so I can't give it high marks there. But I think the color scheme is great, and this is another middle of the road helmet.
Yeah, I'm with you that it was totally saved by that white outline. Without that, it would not be good at all. How about you, Randy? What do you think?
Well, I like the logo, like you said, red, white, and blue. Bullhead, the star for the eye. It's all good. It takes up a lot of space on the helmet. It doesn't work on the dark helmet. Originally, when they first unveiled it, before they even took the field, they unveiled that logo on a white shell, and that, it let the logo stand out some more, but it wasn't quite right. And I don't know what the right color shell would be, but I think they need to experiment with some other colors. When the Lions played them this year, they were wearing a red shell with the red logo, and that was atrocious. So red's not the way to go either. But if they could find something in the middle that would accentuate that logo, I think it'd be a lot better. Maybe a really light blue or something.
Like an Oiler blue? Just saying.
Could be.
All right, we're going to move on to the Las Vegas Raiders, who are next. We scored them pretty high, 51.33, and I gave them the lowest score. I don't really... I gave it pretty high marks all across the board, except for legibility and then use of space. I think they could pump up that logo and make it bigger so you can see what you're looking at. That's the only bad things I have to say. I love the Raider on there and the eye patch. It's classic. I mean, to me, I think of Otis Sistrunk and that era of mid-70s greatness. Ken Stabler at QB, Cliff Grant, Gene Upshaw. It's kind of nostalgic for me. And it's classic. They haven't changed a thing. I like that. So, how about you, Randy?
I agree. This is a classic logo. I had this at number 3 on my list. Like you said, they've hardly changed it at all, if at all, and it works. You know, the silver shell, the black logo, and everything. Just when you think of teams that have predominantly black colors, you think of the Steelers and you think of the Raiders, and black and silver. There's not a better combination than that. So this is a good helmet, and a good logo. I like it.
The AFC is just filled with a bunch of classics. A team that hasn't had to change much over the years. Looking at it again, as great as I love the color scheme, the silver and black, I wish they'd throw on a black face mask or something. There's a lot of silver, not that that's a bad thing, but I think if you wanted to change it up, a black face mask would probably work real well with it. And like you said, Royce, maybe even making the logo just a smidge bigger would work as well. Otherwise, I mean, hard to really knock down this classic look. It's nothing really wrong with it other than maybe a couple little minor tweaks, if anything. But it's also why they haven't had to change it for 50, 60 years.
Yeah. I mean, silver and black, you automatically think Raiders. So it's pretty cool. Unless you're from Jacksonville and you think Sharks, but that's a different story.
Right.
All right. So the next team, speaking of a classic that hasn't changed, we've got the Kansas City Chiefs. They are at 52.33 collectively for us. And this one really has had, I would say, I don't know, since the early 70s. I don't think it's changed at all. It's a look that I'm a Chiefs despiser. I really don't like the Chiefs at all. I kind of loathe and harbor hatred toward them. But that beside the point, it's a great helmet. I mean, it's my 6th favorite AFC helmet, and that's saying a lot for a team I really don't like at all. I'm sick of them. I like the Lynn Dawson era. I like even the 90s Chiefs eras. But boy, the last 6-7 years, I'm just sick of them. So that said, it's a great helmet. It's easy to read, easy to tell who it is on the field. I can't really say anything bad about it other than personal taste.
Another classic logo. Again, if it's perfect, why change it? And they have not changed it since they moved to Kansas City from Dallas. When I think of this helmet, all I think of is Hank Stram and 65 toss power trap. You see that? It hasn't changed, and it's still a classic look, going all the way back to Super Bowl I. So I like this helmet. I had it as number 4 on my list. Simple. You know what it is. An arrowhead with a KC on it. It's great. Love it. Don't change it.
Yep, number 4 on my list as well. It's a classic look. This was always a helmet and a team. I kind of always liked the Chiefs, even when they were terrible. I was like, that red is just so sharp. That white face mask on that red shell just works. But now that they're good and now that they are a dynasty in the NFL, I mean, I hate that people don't like them because they're winning. I think that's I mean, I like great. Like, don't get me wrong. We should appreciate greatness. I get why people are sick of them, but at the same time, it's like, man, do we have to hate great? They're just a good team, and they're doing it the right way. Andy, to me, when I see that logo now, it will probably be or that helmet. It'll be a Patrick Mahomes. It'll be an Andy Reid. And while yes, it still will look the same as back in the Hank Stram days in your 65 toss power trap, Randy, it's just a look that's endured, and now it's enduring with a great football team, and that might bump it up a little bit because I'm like, man, this is such a good team with a great look. And even if they were a bad team, they'd be a bad team with a great look. So I don't see this helmet ever really dropping far in the rankings.
So next year when they put a Swifties logo on the side, how are you going to feel about that?
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, if we get to it.
Well, that red color is probably the color of Taylor Swift's lipstick, so they'll work that in somehow.
I'm with you guys, though. I do like Andy Reid. Andy Reid, you can't say anything bad about that dude. He's awesome. He's built a great team. I shouldn't hate him like I do, but
hey, you do you. It's all good.
Okay. Now, next on the list, we have the Buffalo Bills. Now, this is my younger brother Aaron's favorite team. I ranked them as the 4th best helmet, and I think it's another one that's classic. I'm kind of glad they went back to the white shell original look of the Bills there. I do actually like their original Standing Buffalo, maybe even a little better than this one, but this one has such speed, like almost imbued into it, though, that I can't knock it at all. It's great. Oh, the red, white, and blue, it works for Buffalo, hard work in town. I think it's really well done. It kind of shows, like I said, speed and power. So I gave it pretty high ranking. How about, let's start with Adam on this one. What do you think?
Yeah, so back before they made this big helmet change, the Jim Kelly era with the red helmet shell, the white face mask, a decent look. And then, they kind of toyed with it for a few years in between, settling on this version of it, which is the white face mask, white helmet with that logo. So it kind of looks like, the OJ, those days with the Standing Buffalo a little bit, but with the current logo on it, which I like. I don't know why, like, removing the red shell, and even though I would complain about the Dolphins white on white, this works for me. I don't know if it's because of the way that Buffalo logo is just, like you say, it gives it that speed. I don't know if it's because of that. I just like it. I think it's a clean look overall. And, I mean, they could probably change it up and make the face mask a red or even a blue, and it'd probably still work. But, I mean, it's number 6 on my AFC list, so they're doing something right in the simplicity of it.
I think the difference between this and the Dolphins is it's just a bolder color as the logo. So it does give it more contrast and make it feel less washed out, honestly. So, I don't know. What do you think about it, Randy?
This is a great helmet. I had it ranked number 5 on my list. The white shell is the perfect complement to that logo. The red was okay for its time, but the white helmet, the white shell is perfect. And the logo is really good. Again, another one makes it look red, white, and blue. And yeah, this is a great helmet. Don't change it. It's fine just the way it is.
Agreed. Okay, next we've got the San Diego. Nope, we don't have San Diego. We've got the LA Chargers now. So they went back to kind of their old helmet when they had the white shell with the lightning bolt arc. Lightning bolt didn't really change too much other than they went back to that light kind of powder blue instead of that dark blue. But again, to me, this one's a classic. I think it's great. I think, I ranked it as number 2. I think it was one of the original ones that took advantage of a unique way to put your logo not just directly on the side, but to do something with the shape of the helmet. It was kind of unique that way. So I like that part. I give it a 9 in uniqueness. It's actually, I think, even though it's a white shell and a lighter colors, you can still see it pretty easily. You can see that you're watching the Chargers. You know exactly what team you're looking at. So overall, I really like this helmet. I'll quit babbling and give it over to Randy.
Okay, it's my turn to babble. I like the helmet, but to me, with that logo, it works on either a blue shell or a white shell. I mean, it really does. A white Thunderbolt or yellow Thunderbolt on a blue helmet works. It works the way it is now. When you see that logo, especially with the powder blue uniforms, I think of Lance Allworth, and that was such a good look for that team.
Mm-hmm.
The white helmet, the powder blue uniforms, and everything. It's a really, really good look, just the way it is. Simple, there's not a lot to it. You know what it is when you see it. It's lightning bolt, and just like I said, number 6 on my list. A great logo and a great helmet.
Yeah, this ended up as number 2 on mine for the AFC at least. It's I think teams that can pull off the white helmet show with their logo and make something pop, it's a win. And this is a win. When the Chargers laid out this whole redesign 3 or 4 years ago when they moved to LA, I think it was a big home run. They knocked this out of the park. Every single one of those uniform variations they unveiled, I thought everything popped in different ways, and it was that team. It was a Chargers look for all of them. So with this, the yellow face mask on the white works, and with the primarily yellow part of the logo, in the middle, with just that fine powder blue outline, just brings the whole look together. I think it's a fantastic look. And while we're not grading the other variations of it, like when they do the dark uniform, they change the bolt to the dark navy blue. What a win. What a win for this franchise, for their uniform, their look. I dig it quite a bit.
I'm with you guys. I think you can't really go wrong with it either way, but I tend to prefer the white because it was original. But when they go back to that Dan Fouts, Antonio Gates, that look, it's great too. That dark blue shell, it's a good look either way. Chargers did a great job.
Yeah.
Okay, next on the list, I think we're getting up there to the top 2 here. Second best helmet for all of us collectively was the Indianapolis Colts. We all actually ranked it above 55, so that's pretty darn good. I like everything about this helmet, and I'm not a big Colts guy, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's classic, pure, simple, legible. Whether you're talking Manning or Unitas, you have some of the best quarterbacks ever to play the game have worn this helmet. So it kind of is nostalgic that way, but super easy to read. I don't know. I think use of space is the only thing I gave it negative points on. So could they bump up and make that horseshoe a little bigger? Probably, but it doesn't kill it. Like, you can still read it just fine. So I'm being nitpicky there. So, Adam, what do you think about this one?
Well, this is the first time through, the 15th helmet we've looked at for the AFC, that I've been lower on the score than you guys.
Yeah.
So, this is my 15th ranked helmet.
Wow.
So my second worst helmet. But it's still a high score. Because like I said, I don't think there's a terrible helmet in the NFL. So I just couldn't bring myself to go like that low on scores. But for me, I don't know. My worst score was the contrast. I don't know why they got the silver or the gray face mask. I missed the blue face mask. I think that would have really bumped this up a little bit. It is a classic look, so don't get me wrong, but it's a horseshoe on a white helmet. Like, I don't know. Nothing wrong with it, but it doesn't blow me away. It doesn't deserve to be number 2 on anybody's helmet ranking list, unless you're a Colts fan.
Yeah. And I'm not. I think must just be nostalgia shining through on that one for me. But I do agree with you. Why not a blue face mask? Or, I don't want a white face mask, though. I wouldn't want that.
Right.
So the silver's better than white. But I do agree if they put that dark blue, I think it'd pop better. So why did you like it, Randy?
Actually, I had this as my number 1 AFC helmet. Again, like you've been saying, it's a classic logo. Goes back to the Baltimore Colts. And you would think, the way things are today, if you move from one city to another, even if you keep the name, you're going to change the logo or you're going to change the name, whatever. No, they decided to go with the Indianapolis Colts and keep that same look. It hasn't changed since Johnny Unitas. I love that. It's just a clean look and a classic look. And it's great. Yeah, I had that as my number 1 helmet in the AFC.
That's awesome. Okay, and our top helmet in the AFC is the Cincinnati Bengals with a 59.67 rating. So this one actually kind of blew me away after I did my ratings. I looked at, and once I sorted my rank, I was like, what? I have the Bengals at the top? How do I do that? I'm not a Bengals guy. I work for a company that is based in Cincinnati, so I work with a lot of Bengals fans. I'm not one of just not a Bengals guy. I do appreciate their recent teams and the way when Hamlin got hurt for Buffalo, that city kind of rallied around them. I respect their culture there of football, and I like that part, but I've never been a Bengals guy. But this helmet is so unique covers the whole shell. Everything about it. I'm not big on the colors. I'm not an orange fan. I don't like orange helmets, but that's the only place I scored it below a 5 was the color scheme. So, Adam, why don't you tell me about this one?
This was my number one. The highest score I've given out of probably every NFL team. Spoiler alert. It's just, I don't know what it is. It's such a unique, cool helmet. Like when you see it, like I don't care about the Bengals franchise, really. I mean, now that my sister-in-law, her family's from Cincinnati, so now I kind of have a little bit of an affinity for the city of Cincinnati and mainly their baseball team because of her. But the Bengals are now kind of getting wrapped in there. I just think it's a cool-looking helmet. I mean, how many teams have tiger stripes? I mean, now we've been seeing it duplicated by University of Memphis.
Yeah,
has been trying to adopt that look. Hasn't really worked to the same effect as this classic Bengals look. The orange and black is perfectly balanced with the black face mask. It's a clean look. The uniform's kind of hit and miss depending on when they're redesigning, how they redesign it. But the helmet has stayed the same, has stayed consistent. And I don't know, just the color scheme works. It looks like a tiger. Whatever genius in that organization that decided, instead of just slapping Bengals on the side of this, tiger stripes. And they probably all were like, how much cocaine have you just done? It's like, a lot. But, hear me out, lines. Tiger lines on the helmet. I don't know. It just works. It's something you would have thought like, well, yeah, why don't we just do tiger stripes? Like, the Bengal Tigers. Like it just seems to make sense. And I don't know. I'm shocked I haven't gotten that mini helmet yet because it is so cool. But yeah, I'll stop.
And it was kind of ahead of its time. I think they made the change in 80 or 81, right? And to me, that was just so far advanced from what. I mean, we hadn't seen anything like it. I guess the closest thing was when the Seahawks wrapped it all the way around the back. But until then, you never had anything cover the whole shell.
Right.
Still really haven't seen it. So it's pretty epic. And the difference between this and the Memphis Tigers is that I've never seen a blue and silver tiger out in the wild. So this one matches.
Clearly, you're not doing enough cocaine like the people who came up with this helmet.
Not. No. Okay, Randy, tell me about what you think about the Bengals.
I had them as the number 2. So, the top 2 I got right. I just had them reversed from the order that we all had it. But yeah, this is a great helmet. People either love this helmet or they hate it. A lot of people trash this helmet when they're talking about it. I don't know why. Because when you go back to when Paul Brown was the first coach and owner and founder of the team, orange helmet, word Bengals on it. It was terrible. It's like they had to come up with something, so they said, "Oh, I'll just put the name on the helmet. Whatever, don't care." But when they came out with the stripes, like you said, nothing had ever done that. Nothing encompassed the entire helmet, and it makes perfect sense, and it's gorgeous. So yeah, this is right up there, number 2 for me. But this is an awesome look. The color scheme is great, even though black and red or black and orange, whatever, doesn't quite look like the tiger itself, but it matches the uniform and it's great. And Memphis Tigers, I'm sorry, they've gone with black and white stripes, black stripes on a white helmet and blue and silver, and it just doesn't work. Cincinnati is the only one that's got it right, and they got it perfect.
Totally agree.
Real quick, can I ask both of you? I know, Royce, you did your alternate NFL helmets, or you're about to. Thoughts for both of you about the white Bengal helmet that they've released?
I don't like it as well. There's not a white. Well, there may be a rare white Bengal tiger out there, but it just doesn't match nature to me. So this one does it such a good job, the orange one.
Yeah.
That I don't hate the white and black, but it feels more zebra-esque to me than it does Bengal-esque. So it's not great. I still like the fact that the design covers the whole shell, those kind of things, but I like the orange better for me. On that note, so I've ranked last year's alternate helmets, the ones that just came out last year for the first time, and I will be doing rankings of additional alt helmets from the NFL down the road. So I'll get to that one. What I'd like to do before we go on is kind of give you all a look at our collective top 5 and bottom 5 of the whole NFL. After recalculating my error on Randy's Ravens score, the updated bottom 5 are At number 32, worst helmet in the NFL, the Baltimore Ravens, primarily due to the lack of contrast. At number 31 are the Carolina Panthers. I think we can all agree that the original and far superior Panther helmet belongs to the 80s USFL Michigan Panthers. Carolina should extend the body of the Panther down to meet the body of the player to help anthropomorphize it, like Michigan did. Number 30 is the Cleveland Browns helmet. Adam called Randy and my score a travesty. But then again, Adam may be the only person outside Cleveland who likes this design. Time to go to the drawing board, Cleveland. At number 29 are the Jacksonville Jaguars. Sure, it's better than the dual-colored shell they used a few years back, but it's still a dark logo on a dark shell failure. The fifth worst helmet, according to the three of us, goes to the Chicago Bears. Like the Browns helmet, it's a classic, but not all classics are good, and this one is ready for a better look.
So that's the bottom five. Now we'll go on to the top five. And I'll start with the fifth best helmet on all of our rankings collectively was the Minnesota Vikings. I know that I probably helped that ranking because they're my favorite team. So they're up there. But even you guys, you don't hate the purple, and I appreciate you being fair with the Vikings there. Then the Chargers came in at number 4. We just talked about them. We all like them for a lot of reasons. It's a great helmet. The Lions came in at number 3, which
I want to recount.
Randy gave him a 10 out of 10.
We skewed it enough with our Honolulu Blue love, Randy.
I'm sorry.
No,
personal favorite.
Perfect score.
The only perfect score in the history of helmet ranking ever, right there, came from Randy.
Send messages to Randy Snow at info@theworldoffootball.com.
Yes.
Go Lions.
Then the top 2 were the Colts and the Bengals, which we also just talked about. So AFC definitely kind of won the league outside of the NFC North. So the final ranking was the Bengals had the best helmet. We all like the Bengals helmet. So I guess that's kind of all we have today. We'll put this together, and then Adam is going to have the NFC video on their channel, and I'll have the AFC video on my channel. We'll cross-link them so you guys can watch one after the other. It's been a great time. I love kind of bantering back and forth with these guys. They know their football. Give them a watch. Give them a subscribe. Really a great channel, especially if you and the football history. I gotta say, Randy, I love that part. So keep that in there. With that, I don't know. Do you guys have any parting words?
Royce, we've enjoyed what you've been doing this past year. We're so glad you made it to 1,000 subscribers. If we were able to help you at all in that, we will take pride in that. But you've done it all on your own, I think, and your channel is worth watching. Your helmet rankings are great. Like us, we love the history of the game of football, and you're doing that sort of work too with all the different leagues that you have ranked helmets, from the Mexican League to NFL Europe or whatever. You have done NFL Europe, haven't you?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, you've done so many, I can't keep them all straight, but you do a great job, and we're glad that you suggested we do this together. It's been a lot of fun. We've had a good time.
Absolutely. And since this is really my first venture into podcasting, I gotta say, I think I'm going to do more of it in the future because it's fun. It just really is. So.
Yeah, a lot of great fun discussion. And Royce, I just want you to know, don't forget about us little people as your channel continues on this upward trajectory, because you're doing some great stuff. Like, I'm not even mad. Like, this is great. I love seeing this. I've been every day I'll go and check and see how many does he have now on your way to getting to 1,000, and now you're already skyrocketing past that. So congratulations again. This was so much fun. I'm sorry that your normal videos are usually a nice tight 8 to 15 minutes, and we come on with our mouths, and we've been talking for an hour 2 times now. This is supposed to just be an hour. Like, we thought, we'll do an hour collectively to do 2 different shows, and here we are. We've literally made 2 one-hour podcasts essentially to record these videos. So I hope people don't mind. Clearly, we got 3 people who like football enough to just sit and chit chat about it. And I'm very curious to see what kind of comments we get, what other people think about the current state of NFL helmets, because I know there's going to be a lot of opinions.
Yeah,
I
especially
agree.
about Randy's opinions.
Yes. And I also, here's one thing I almost forgot to do. I want to plug you guys during the NFL season. If you haven't yet, go on to the World of Football channel and join their NFL pick'ems each week, because that's super fun to do. Just tell who you want to win each game, and then they go through the whole season, and they'll go do week by week who won the week, and kind of go throughout the whole year. It's just a blast. You don't have to bet on it or anything. It's just fun.
We don't do any point spreads. It's just win or lose, and we pick every game. 272 this last year, plus all the playoffs. And we've had some guys. We've been doing this about 4 years now, and we've had some guys that've been with us from pretty much from day one. And we usually have about 10 people that pick with us, and it's been a lot of fun. So come join us during the football season, and we'll make some picks.
Awesome. Love it. Okay, well, before I go, I want to talk a little bit about what I've got coming up. Is during the UFL season, I'm going to be covering the Memphis Showboats, so keep an eye out for those videos as the training camp's about to happen. They're going to be starting to make cuts, so I'll get some videos out there talking about how that team shapes up, and then give predictions each week on who I think is going to win, and then kind of do a recap of the previous week for the Showboats too. So that's coming up, and then also follow the Alternative Football Network. You can find them on Facebook, X. They have a online, so alternativefootballnetwork.com, and that's a place where you can go and see the whole network, which is basically a collaborative group of content creators who are all into different types of football, and they all just want to help kind of push each other forward. So it's a great group. I highly recommend that. And with that, I guess we'll say thanks, guys. This was fun, and we'll talk to you later. Well, I'm sure we'll do this in some form or another down the road. Maybe next year we'll look at some other league that we haven't got to yet. But
Right on. Yeah. If you want to talk about football for over an hour, you know the two guys to get a hold of.
absolutely, I love it. Okay, everybody, take care. Thanks for your
All
day.
right. Thanks a lot. See ya.